Hey everyone, another video. In this video, we are going to be creating a new table shape, actually, a relationship table. And what the relationship table shape allows us to do is relate any record in any table to any record in any table. We're going to have a few of these relationships in our system because we want one specifically for the system database, and that will help us create templates for data sets and columns and build these things. Like I was talking about in the introduction to the series, we want to automate the table creation, and this is one of those steps. It'll allow us to relate definitions like clustered indexes, defaults, etc. to other things, other objects also. Very interesting concept. The relationship shape allows us to pre-process recursive CTEs and not waste that time in production. So hope you enjoy, and I will see you soon. All right, so the first thing we have to do is create a new file unit because we're creating a new domain called relationship. So I'm going to call the procedure we made back in 2005, I believe, and say, hey, we're going to create a relationship file structure on the system database, and it'll make sure that it's on system main, history, archive, and snapshot, just to check, and we have that. So this is where the physical model starts to take shape, is declaring these new domains of data. These changing domains, we want to give them their own files. So to create the relationship tables, I'm going to use definition as my base create as script because it has no parent, and the relationship doesn't have a parent either. So I'm just going to replace definition with system relationship. 323, that's crazy. So this is kind of where creating our first relationship gets a little confusing, and I think we're gonna have some errors, but I'll try my best. Because we had given it its own file unit, we're changing that 3 part. We're making it rel system relationship to denote that it belongs on its own file group. So we're just going in here and replacing ref system relationship with rel system relationship. And mind you, we're not doing that to the realm class family type, because that's reference data. That doesn't change very often. All of our RCFTs will be reference data. It's just the base tables or the extended tables that change. So for the file group, we want to make sure, well, it looks like my Control R did not, or Control Shift R did not refresh the cache, but we're gonna put our relationship table on the relationship file groups. The index on index and the actual table on cluster. And then I'm gonna look for, let's see, there we go. We gotta update these to rel relationship. I'm gonna see if I can get a Control H going. I can get some of them at least. So we're gonna replace that to make sure it hits the right table. And then we wanna come in and adjust the names to make sure that everything is as accurate as possible. Because SQL is building these names for us, we want to follow that pattern, and so we can do it ourselves, duplicate it. So for the columns, we don't need descriptor columns in the relationship table, so we're going to remove those. We don't need a cleaning system in a relationship table because relationships come and go, so we don't need those. But we're going to keep the sequence, both text and numeric, and we're going to add some columns. Oh, and of course, keeping the owners, the primary key, the tenant, the type, and the specific dataset number. But these 4 new columns that we're going to add, it's technically just 2 columns repeated differently. The primary key of the parent, and we're going to, in primary key underscore parent underscore implied, because it comes from somewhere else, and we're going to give it the primary key implied data type. And we're going to do that again for a specific data set number. So int specific data set number underscore y, well, it's a parent and its location is implied. So I could just copy these and replace them with, replace parent with child. And this is essentially our relationship table. This is everything that we need. The parent ID and specific data set number, so we can relay a definition using the specific data set number and ID. We can relate that definition to, let's say, 4 default columns in a clustered index and relate it to the data points that we need. Now I have to go down and actually add or remove these defaults, and then add the defaults for our implied items. Let's see, that should be good. So I'm gonna paste the specific data set number 1 twice and just add on to the name as if SQL was creating this name. As I said, that's very important that we utilize the code that we have or that is automatically generated for us and just adapt to it. So I created the defaults for the parents, and I'll just copy paste. Once again, replace, or the parent child, replace specific data set number with primary key, and that should be good on those. So okay. I was just here, I was just editing this stuff, and I did not update the table name. All right, so I'll just select all that and replace system, oh man, that type ID. Okay, well, I'll just repair the type ID. Is that the only one? Yep, okay. So we'll replace ref system with rel system, and we'll just fix this relationship type ID to make sure it's ref system relationship type ID. And we can just run these defaults because the rest should have compiled. So if we refresh our table list, you'll see that system relationship is now at that bottom because it's no longer ref. It's part of the relationship domain. And for just to continue on, like how we're going to handle this in the subject family where we had defined RCFT, we're going to create another record, and we're going to call it two-sided or two-way relationship. And just let's see, I guess I could give it a two relationship because we'll have a one-sided relationship, a few of them. And then we can go into our subject type table and add relationship with the rel abbreviation, which represents the rel that we added to the table itself, which should give you an idea of how group GRP is going to be handled. And then we can come in here and add another table as our subject, as if we created it under that relationship subject type. So this is how this subject table is going to create different kinds of tables for us. Now, we don't have a need to fill these relationship tables like the RCFT right now, but we will in the next sprint because I think we're going to focus on creating views and the actual objects. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, like this video if you would like YouTube's recommendation engine to recommend this video to users with our interests, and subscribe to support me. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.